Yo, brawlers, this is your man, Glass Chin, and you're watching Glass Chin's Heavyweight Boxing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Yo, brawlers, head over to Mad Rush Sports, where you can buy all the latest in boxing equipment from their extensive catalogue. That's Mad Rush Sports. Follow the link in the description. Yo, brawlers, massive thank you to the continued growth for this channel. We currently have 320 subscribers, hoping we can get to the magic 500 by the end of the month. I really do appreciate your support. We have a few things to talk about tonight. We have a good couple of heavyweight bouts taking place this weekend. I'll be breaking down the Joseph Parker and Junior Farr fight from the previous weekend a little later in the show. First, let's take a look at their undercard. What an entertaining sideshow fight from Hemi Ohio and Julius Long. They look like completely different weights, with Long over a foot taller and 100 pounds heavier. It really was a funny fight to watch. As some of you may have heard in previous videos, I'm a big fan of Ohio's style. Glad he soldiered through this and got the stoppage. He showed a decent chin himself, but was very gassed due to the difference in weight. Ohio really should think about taking advantage of the WBC's new Bridgerweight division. Zhang vs Forrest took place on the Canelo vs Yildirim undercard. Massive respect to Forrest, surviving 3 early knockdowns to get the draw. Zhang was out on his feet at the end of the 10th round. If it had been a 12-round fight, it's hard to see how Zhang wouldn't have been knocked out due to exhaustion. After 3 rounds, no one could have predicted Forrest making it the distance and getting the draw. Every big blow that Zhang landed buckled Forrest's legs. It was courageous stuff watching him dig in deep, biting down on his gum shield. It was like something out of a Rocky movie. Zhang would have still walked away with the points decision if it wasn't for a late point deduction for holding, clinching, and getting Forrest in headlocks. During the announcement, Forrest celebrated the draw as if he had won a world title. Hopefully we get the rematch on the Canelo vs Billy Joe Saunders undercard. I'd love to see a rematch of this fight. Great stuff from both guys. 2 good solid heavyweight bouts to take place this weekend. Tony Yoka returned this Friday against decent journeyman Joel Dijeko. This is a bit of a step down from Yoka's last opponent, Christian Hammer. Most of you won't have heard of Dijeko, but he is ranked 58th on BoxRec and does have good wins over Ricardo Snyders and Simone Federici. I've said it before, Yoka to me is the top prospect in the world, so I will be a little disappointed if he doesn't get the stoppage win on Friday. Yoka is wasting his career only fighting once or twice a year. He needs to have a busy 2021. Big step up in class this Saturday night when former white-collar boxer Fabio Wardley takes on 2-time world title contender Eric Molina. I wasn't too sold on Wardley, but I was very impressed with his wins over Richard Lartey and Simon Vallily during the Matchroom fight camps last summer. I was expecting him to win both fights, but in no way, shape or form did I expect him to blow out Lartey in 2 rounds. Lartey gave both Daniel Dubois and Nathan Gorman good fights. I fully expect Wardley to win the British title by the end of the year. It's hard to predict the outcome of this fight, as Eric Molina is an experienced veteran who has had a lot of notice for this fight and should be in great shape. Wardley is a chip off Dillian White's block, not being afraid to take tough fights. They must see some weakness in Malinka that they can exploit. I'm going with a Wardley knockout in round 4 or 5. Now the big fight from the weekend, Joseph Parker vs Junior Farr. Parker-Farr was a good fight, but a little tiring to watch at times. I knew Farr's game plan would be to do a lot of holding and that Parker would get frustrated. The fight pretty much played out exactly how I said in my prediction video, up until the end of the 8th round that is. Credit to Farr for not gassing out. Parker landed a hell of a lot of body shots. I thought this would happen, but they had little effect in breaking Farr down. If anything, Farr was the fresher man in the final rounds. Really impressive how much punishment Farr took to the body. I said in the previous video that Farr's movement and boxing abilities were underrated. He was able to telegraph the majority of Parker's work upstairs to take the sting out of his punches. I said in the prediction video, if it went to points, then I think Parker will take it 8 rounds to 4 or something in that neighbourhood. 2 of the judges had it a little bit wider than that, but I think you could argue that Farr won 4 if not 5 rounds. This was an ugly fight to watch that might have turned off potential Farr fans, but I think he showed a case that he should be ranked in the top 30. He gained valuable experience in rounds against a clear top 10 fighter. Hopefully he can build on his performance and get some big fights this year. Otto Wallin and Luis Ortiz will be looking for opponents in the States. Frank Sanchez will be looking to step up in class. I said earlier I like Hemi Ohio, but I think Farr's size would be too much for him if they locked horns. As for Parker, I'm not sure where he goes from here. There's talk of the Derek Chisora fight being revisited. I'm not sure why, but I fancy Chisora to pull off the upset. I think even though he got the win, Parker was a bit negative and poor against Farr. He had poor fights against Hughie Fury and Ko Jianyu. You could argue that Ruiz won their WBO world title fight. There's a lot of up-and-coming lions getting into the mix. I'll be surprised to see Parker in the top 10, at least of the Ring magazine, in the next 2 years. What's your thoughts, Brawlers? How good do you think Parker is? Has he overachieved? Can Del Boy Chisora pull off the upset? Let me know in the comment section.